This is the stuff that I talk about. People do get fed up enough with the abuse and then they end up defending themselves. And then, of course, they go to jail because the lawyers and all that, they don't care. Authorities don't care about anybody under 18. If you've ever noticed, the only person under 18 I've ever seen not go to jail for defending themselves is because somebody broke into their house and they shot the person with a shotgun. So that's the only time I've ever seen somebody under 18 defend themselves without going to jail. Then when they do go to jail, the people who went through a similar situation and felt like they went through worse, not that situations can't be worse than others, but I really don't like that whole bragging and comparing abuse thing anyway. So anyway, the people that feel like their situation was worse or similar and didn't end up defending themselves, and I'm just gonna go ahead and let it be. I'm not like trying to guilt trip somebody for not defending themselves, because obviously people are scared, and some people already know that authorities and all that don't care about people under 18, and they definitely don't care about abuse victims. So if they do defend themselves, they're gonna end up going to jail or worse, a mental facility anyway, which is why they don't. But the people who don't start guilt tripping the people that did defend themselves. This person can even hear them from a comment section anyway. And then they start talking about how they didn't do that, and they'll be like, I was getting beat on, molested, and burnt with cigarette lighters and all that for 18 years, and I never once even thought about laying a hand on my abusers. First of all, I'm really not trying to like invalidate anybody, but I doubt that that's even really true, that you never thought about doing anything back to them. And if you didn't, it was because of how scared you were. And then just the fact that you're trying to guilt trip somebody because they did defend themselves, and now you're talking about they deserve to be in jail for stabbing the dude who used to force them to have oral sex with him every day. It's like people are just so ego. I think that's really the word for it. And then there's a couple other things I could say. But yeah. I hate how like the authorities and all that have just normalized child abuse and made it seem like it's just the thing that should happen to people. And then the other enablers, not just like lawyers and stuff, have just made it seem like it's something that just should happen and that the kids deserve it, to where when they actually do defend themselves, people come out the woodworks guilt tripping them and talking about how horrific they are for defending themselves. But actually this comment section wasn't that bad, or at least most of the people I seen in the comment section were admitting that the situation and what happened to them was horrific. There was only a few people, especially the ones that were trying to like projective. No, that's not what that's called. That's not what that's called. It's called, wait a minute, because I can't even remember who it was that said it, but it's like something heroism, where you feel like there's something you could have done better than the survivor of the abuse did. And I think it's Defend Survivors Instagram that makes videos about it. I was about to say Dr. Romney, but that definitely, I don't think that was Dr. Romney at all. I don't think that was her that said that. Especially because they went through abuse too, and so then they feel like they have more of a right to guilt trip somebody. And the lady was like, somebody said something to her because they probably didn't believe that she got abused. But I didn't even question whether she was abused before. I already knew that she's one of those people that did get abused and then feels like everybody should have did what she did. But the thing is, everybody's not going to do what you do. Obviously. But yeah. So then the people who defend themselves from abuse are made to look like the most evil person ever. Because these PO officers, these lawyers, and all that, it's not even just about the fact that they don't even care about people under 18. It's the fact that they're child molesters and abusers themselves. And so that's why when somebody does make child sexual abuse imagery, or they're a child molester or whatever, nobody does anything to keep them from being in the house with people that they shouldn't be around because their age. Which, I mean, I can admit that there's not too much somebody could do except hope that people won't bring them into the house with their kids. But what somebody could do something about is actually charge them. And they don't like charging the people, because why would they want to charge somebody who's like them? Because basically what they're thinking is, since they're a child molester, the person who stepped into the courtroom that molested whoever's kid, they're like, I don't want to charge this person because this is like another version of me, basically. And so then they don't get charged. Or if it's a case about child sexual abuse, they don't even take it to court, so there's no trial, no nothing. And then what people always like to do to excuse themselves for like not doing their job is tell the victim that they just don't believe them. A lot of people still believe this whole people go and report but then nobody believes them thing. I've been got over that a long time ago, and I've been saying it for the longest. It's not that people don't believe, it's that people don't care, or they're too scared to do anything, but usually they just don't care. So instead of just saying, well, I don't care, or I'm too scared to actually help you, they'll just say, I don't believe you. I've been got over that wait a minute. I've been got over all that disbelief stuff. Like, I think that was 2021. Because it started in 2020 when, mid to late 2020, during the whole situation with my dad's girlfriend, and them admitting that my dad was a narcissist, and then them admitting that the whole diagnosis thing was obviously crazy and not true, and that everything wasn't all in my head. And then once all those different girlfriends, well, not all of them, because there were two that never witnessed the whole diagnosis thing, because they either came before he got me back on the drugs, or they just didn't, nothing happened around them where they would even know about the drug thing. So yeah, a couple of the different girlfriends were telling me about it, and then that's when I realized that the situation was so obvious, because I mean, they told me that the situation was really obvious. But since they had never even met my mom, they could only really talk about the stuff that my dad was doing. So I did let them know that my mom's the one that started off the whole situation with the whole diagnosis hospital pill thing. My dad just picked it back up for whatever reason. Because I hadn't even been getting drugged in a long time, and I was just thrown, well, over a year. Right? Wasn't that, like, wait. I hadn't been getting drugged in still a long time. Yeah, that actually was like a year, actually. I hadn't been getting drugged in a year. Then for him to pull this whole mess a couple months after I moved in with him. And then I get thrown back on all types of milligrams and stuff out of the blue when I hadn't even been on any for a while. So I didn't even get winged back on, because the psychiatrist at that place, actually that's not what I'm supposed to be talking about. So anyway, I think I have a video about that. A couple. So anyway, what was I saying? Dang. What was that? This is so embarrassing. It really is. But yeah. So I don't remember what the last thing I was saying was before I got off topic. But one thing that I was going to say is that in the Cash for Kids system playlist I have on the Part 5 channel, where the first video is me explaining the entire Cash for Kids system. And the reason I did this is because I noticed that when people think of Cash for Kids system, or the people that do know about it, they talk about the parents that are begging for their kids to get out of juvenile detention centers and mental facilities for crimes that they didn't commit, because some lawyer put them in there for something that they know they didn't do for money. Or they think about the TTIs, which is the troubled teen institutions. Actually, no, TTI, usually when people say TTI, it stands for troubled teen industry. So anyway, that's the same thing. The point is, people think about that, but they don't know how, like, deep the Cash for Kids system is, and they don't know how much is actually involved in the Cash for Kids system, other than just juvenile jails and false imprisonment and TTIs. So that's why I explained that it's the American school system with the school to prison pipeline, the special ed systems, the TTIs, the mental facilities, the juvenile justice system, all of that. And so anyway, I have a couple of videos about people who got thrown in the Cash for Kids system, the juvenile justice part, for defending themselves against abuse. So like, there's a he's like 11, 12. His lawyer had to fight for a while. They shouldn't try to get him put in an adult prison eventually. Because he, I guess he was getting abused too, but he helped his friend kill his abusive parents. That's what happened. So then the other dude, he was like, I've been in jail for years and nobody's even ever cared to ask me why I even killed my parents. And all they've done is make me look like a bad guy, and they never even offered me therapy. And so, I don't know what else to say about that.
What is projected heroism? It's when you think you would have heroically done something different than the survivor did. But if you're doing this, it's really just pride, that you think that somehow you would have miraculously done something different or better than the survivor did, or it's out of fear and you're just hoping you would have and not been hurt. Either way, it's just more abuse to the survivor. The survivor is the only expert in their experience, and the truth is they made the right decisions.
Was it projective heroism? I guess. But, dang, this is sad. I'm really trying to think about something I could say. Because it's like, I really don't like how there's no justice and nobody does anything about the abuse, but then everybody goes haywire and will swoop in to lock up the victims to get a paycheck once they defend themselves. And you already know that, like, melanated people are considered three-fifths of a human in the Constitution and all that. So the laws already weren't even made to protect them anyway. But like I told somebody who tried to say that it's mostly about like color or whatever, or like ethnic origins, I said it's really not even about that. Because the thing is, there are certain people that just aren't going to be cared about regardless of what they look like. People with mental labels and people under 18. So these kids didn't have a mental label though. But still, I was like, since they're under 18, of course they're not going to be cared about. And the laws and the authorities just don't care about people under 18 in abuse situations. Because, like, they are child molesters themselves and all that stuff. And even if they're not, they still just don't care. I was like, it's not about color. They've done this to 11-year-olds. They put who were white, and they just do it to really anybody. Because, I mean, I know plenty of people who aren't dark-skinned that have all types of charges, false charges from their abuse situations. So, I already know that it's not even about the color. Maybe one day there's something that I could do or somebody could do to where people under 18 can defend themselves, because they really just can't, obviously. Like, and then it's like in these situations, here's something I can say. In these situations, there's so many reports about the abuse and nothing's ever done. Ever. But then it's like people just go crazy once they defend themselves. And then it's like somebody has to be dead already for them to even do anything. And that's not even always the case, because I know people whose parents have killed their siblings, their younger siblings or older, whatever, have killed their siblings and gotten away with it. Because authorities really just do not care about abuse. And I know people will be like, well, I mean, what did you do? I mean, I can't go anywhere. I can't go to them. I mean, I can't. There's nothing I really could do about that. And then the situation from the specific person I'm talking about, it happened so long ago anyway. And it's like, I mean, I wish there was something that I could really do. But, I mean, if authorities don't care, the only thing I could do is something that would just get me in jail. Which, I mean, I try to avoid that, because it's like I've already been locked up enough. Over mess to where I don't even have the time to, like, make any mistakes or whatever. Because unlike other people, I already know the horrors of being locked up. That's why I really can't understand the people that want to get locked up just so they can brag about it. There's nothing fun about being locked up, at least not in the mental facilities. I mean, I know that the prisons aren't any better, but there are some where at least, I mean, you could go outside and stuff like that. In mental facilities, you have absolutely no rights and you can't do jack. Absolutely jack. But none of them are good. No institution is good.